Today is Wednesday, March 5, and the Nasdaq today had a snapback or a bounce back rally, whatever you want to call it, a relief rally after correcting over time from the high of 20,204 on December 16th. Here it corrected, like I said, via time. It had this long, choppy session where it just traded in this range, and now it's correcting through price very quickly. This is a steep drop off here, about 9% here on this, and it's 11% peak to trough, a little more than 11% on this total correction. And we got a bounce back today of 1.46%. It was up 267 points on 7% below average volume. So this to me is like typical, short covering rally. And this is why we wait for day four to allow this short covering to subside. We want to follow institutions. We want to see the institutions supporting the market. And when you're just seeing, shorts taking profit and covering their bets, that is not a healthy tape. So yesterday we had the pink rally day where the it was one of the weakest pink rally days I've ever seen in my life. I believe it doesn't have closing. It was about 52% of the daily range. So it was up in the upper half of the daily range and it closed lower, but only 65 points yesterday. And today, day two of an attempted rally. The first day could be Friday, which would be day four once we get past this short covering. And I always say, has the market proven itself to you? Is it worthy of your hard-earned dollars? I would say at this point, no. It's definitely has not. It did trade above its. This is your 40-week line or your 200 moving average, but it's still down 1.56% for the week, nearly 300 points. And so it's down on volume once again, and we could see these big pink volume bars here. So this is not institutional support that I'm seeing in this market. So it's very important that we understand the market environment before we, plunge in head first. I dip my toes in a couple of stocks. That's fine, just to probe the market. I do that from time to time because I don't want to be completely out. I want to stay engaged in the market, and I'll get to that in a minute, but it's not important. What is important? Market environment. Okay, it made a high above yesterday's high of 18,589. Today was 604. Okay, great. That's a step in the right direction. The low is higher than yesterday's low. The high is higher than yesterday's high. Great. So now what? I think we got to get above this high right here, 18,992. You think, that's not that far away, right? 552. Man, maybe like 400 points. And maybe we can get that type of a rally on Friday. I think we have this job report. What I'm looking for here in the market is when the market hears the word tariff or the term in a headline, tariff is used and it doesn't react, doesn't respond. Today it responded because the tariffs were removed from the automakers and it's getting a little silly. The market's just trying to adjust to this tariff talk and with the impact it's going to have on our economy. So maybe Friday, if we get a weak jobs number, which I think we will, maybe the market goes up on weak data. That would be a positive, right? When it starts ignoring negative news, maybe it's perceiving that we can get, everybody wants lower interest rates. Heck, I don't know anybody who doesn't want lower interest rates. If you're trying to buy a home, you're trying to buy a car, anything, you want lower rates. So, I don't know. That's what this all is working towards. And the market, this is the Nasdaq, just trying to rebalance or trying to restructure or reprice the impact of tariffs. Anyway, that's enough of that crap. I just want to point out that it did close above its 200, 0.9% above the 200, still 4.9% below this downtrending 50. And the shorter term moving average, I switched it today. I got to switch this back because I was looking at some stocks here that strong stocks should trade with the five or balance or find support at the five. So I was just looking for some of those. I'll show you those in a minute. But the 10 right here, the Nasdaq is still 1.6% below the 10, 3.3% below the 21. 4.9% below the 50. So this is down. It's a downtrending market. When you see all those short-term trends trending lower, this is downtrending market. This is not a market to go crazy and just jump in with both feet. So yeah, try a probe trade. I think I'm about 20% invested and not invested. I'm 20% involved in the market right now, but ready to dip in and dip out at any moment. To me, this is not a market to be getting frisky with or even to mess around with. And we know when the Nasdaq goes up, what stocks are driving it higher. Apple is flat on the day. I mean, Microsoft. I keep talking. I don't want to, talk down to these Mag 7 stocks because they're great companies. They've been great companies for a long time. I just think they're over-owned and they're tired. This is Microsoft here. You could see the ownership, 10,500 funds last March, 10.6 in June, 10.5 in September, and now the last reading was 10.4. So they're reducing less funds, and you can see the funds that do own them are reducing their shares in them. JP Morgan and just there's one Fidelity, dropping their shares from 21 to 19. So they're selling Microsoft. Not that they don't like it or it's not that they're a bad company. It's just it's over-owned. And that's all. You sell a little bit of this and you go buy some smaller software company or some other tech or some other area. It's not that Microsoft is a bad company. I don't mean to badmouth it. It's a great company. It's just it's no longer really a growth company. It's more of a value play. So yeah, and it just got a little pop today. And just wanted to mention this because it's up 3%, and this is what's driving the indexes higher. But if you look at this, does that look to you like an uptrend? No, this thing's been in purgatory for a long, long time. It just had a little snapback rally on in a lighter volume today. Nothing to get excited about. NVIDIA, kind of the same thing. These things are beaten up, just a little tick higher. This looks terrible. Google has been beaten down as well. I think that one was up today, yeah, more than 1%. But you could see below the 200, nothing good happens below the 200. Even the index got through the 200 today. Meta, which has been one of the stronger of these Mag 7 names, undercut the 50, rallied back above it. If there was one in this group I'd want to own, it would probably be that one. Tesla, this is horrible. CEO has really done some brand damage to the company. So anyway, this is not something that I'm even remotely interested in. And Amazon, yeah, came down to the 200 and bounced, but this is just like a relief rally. It's above the 200. That's about the best thing you could say, but all the short-term moving averages are heading lower. This is, like I said, just not. I know some people like to pick bottoms and think, oh, that's the bottom. It's going to textbook bounce off the 200. Well, maybe it will, but it also might get rejected here at the 10 and take another dive down because during downtrends, you'll see a snapback rally for a day or two, then all of a sudden, wham, you're down. The index will go down 400 or 500 points, and there's a lot of pain involved. And that's why I say you don't want to get, overly involved in this market. Okay, Amazon, Tesla, Google, Meta, NVIDIA. Okay, I did the Mag 7. I might as well do the Broadcom, which pulled back to the 200 and then rallied today as well. So this is what I would call like a relief rally, a snapback rally. Shorts are going to cover, right? Because if you're short this thing, you shorted at 240 and it's down to 190. Come on, you got to take profits at some point. Just like when a stock goes higher, it pulls back a little bit. That's just some profit taking on its way higher. This is some short covering on its way lower, but maybe that 200 will be support. It should be support, but just not something that I'm going to get long in here. Sorry, not going to do it. All right, I'm going to go through some of the earnings reports from last night. CrowdStrike, they did the typical, there was a decent report, but they guided lower and they talked about how great things are. Well, if things are so great, why are you guiding lower? And the guy, it's the same old game. People know what's going on. So yeah, it sold off first half hour today, 10 o'clock, 343, and then just buyers came in because they understand what's going on. Nothing wrong with the company. It's just they lowered, I shouldn't say they lowered, guys. They just set the bar lower so they could hurdle over it, easy comps for the next quarter. But anyway, uh, great company. 90 billion market cap for about 5 billion in sales. So it's pretty rich. Trading about 18 times sales. So CrowdStrike, I don't know, below the 50 now. It's in, and it's right between the 200 and the 50. Just nothing to get excited about. CRDO reported last night and oof, traded down to its 200, man, down 14%. This is just in a downtrend. So this is what I'm saying, these stocks that were once like ripping higher and really showing strength in the moving averages, were providing support along the way, all the way. Now, they're going to provide resistance on the way down. So here you go. Every time Scredo comes up, it finds resistance. Now it comes down to the 200. Maybe it'll find support and bounce, but man, it's a real tough tape, folks. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's real tough, but you got to stay vigilant because things can turn, and there's always stocks out there. There's always opportunities. Like 80% are going to follow the tape, and then you can find some diamonds in the rough. And that's what I try to do, and just trade smaller and quicker. This is a box. And once again, these guys are talking about how great business is, and then their guidance is just flat. So, they got a little bit of a haircut today, but it did close at the high of the daily range. So, something to say for that. Yeah, 89% of the daily range. It was down to 31. Closed at 32.39, so not bad for box. But it's the same old story here with these AI stocks. And I gotta say, during the 90s, there was a lot of stocks that were great. Yahoo and EMC and JDS Uniphase and Sun Microsystems, Intel, Cisco, a lot of them couldn't do any wrong. They were going to go to the sky. And because of the internet boom, right? Well, what happened is they all splat. There was very few winners out of that time period. Very few. And I'm seeing that with these stocks now that like Arista Networks was just big, great, the AI stock. And now all of a sudden it's like, this is crashing and burning way below the 200. I know it got an upgrade today, but I think the worm has turned. And when you hear all these bulls say, oh, the AI revolution is going, well, there's very few stocks that are going to be winners. We have precedent of it. Just, when Henry Blodgett said Yahoo's going to 5,000, I think it was like a week later the thing crashed and burned. So beware of these people who are perma bulls just saying, this stock's going to go to the sky because they're not. And, I hear these people talking about NVIDIA all the time. This thing has been dead money for a long, 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 long time. Since 140, it was 140 back in June. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent. Just you got to be careful. These people are like charlatans, always trying to sell something. Yeah, once it gets above 140, maybe we're in business. But right now, it's like a fish out of water just flopping around on the deck there at 117. So it looks to me like it's just in a downtrend. And there's going to be a lot of these stocks that have done great, that you think are going to be fantastic. Data centers are going gung-ho. Vert, was great stock for a long period of time, had a great run. The moving averages, were support all the way up. It was doing fantastic, and then it hit a top, and then boom, that deep seek day, and it's just been now the moving averages are providing resistance, and it's in a straight downturn. There's no way you can get in front of this. This is a freight train on the way up and a train wreck on the way down. You don't want to be involved with this stuff. And VST, same thing. A lot of these ones that were going great, 2024, are just getting slammed here in 2025. And I know they were great stories, and it sounds good, and the fundamentals are great, but the chart is telling you these things are done. So you got to move on and look for other stuff. And I'm going to get there in a minute. I just had to go off on a tangent. Abercrombie and Fitch reported today, speaking of a stage 4 decline, they're in it down 9% today. Yeah, just, stocks top, growth stocks especially. They're like hand grenades. They're going to go off at some point. You pull the pin, they blow up. You just don't want to be holding it in your hand when they do explode. Foot Locker, kind of a relief rally here. Their business model is not conducive for today's consumer. That's all. It was up 5% on earnings. THO, I kind of knew this one was going to have a pretty poor report, down 14.5%. People aren't buying, discretionary income. People are buying necessities now, essentials, and only the wealthy are buying the, discretionary. And I guess they have all the RVs they want. They're wealthy. They buy yachts, right? And islands and jets. They don't buy RVs. All right. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. Ross Stores reported, um, the consumer is slowing, so I would stay away from stuff like this. Obviously, it was at 163, 158, 157, 154, making lower highs here, a lower high, a lower high, a lower high, a lower high, and then what happens? Market tanks, and this thing leads its way down. So anyway, from 163 to 138, that's too much pain. All right, that was the earnings from last night and this morning. I'm just going to go to, the European stocks, and a lot of the foreign stocks are doing better than the U.S. stocks. There was some, I think the DAX, the German index, was really ripping today. It was Germany providing stimulus and loosening regulations. That it's about time. They've been kind of a laggard for a long, long time, but we're seeing a lot of these. Foreign. This is a Spanish bank. It pulled back one day and then popped. This is what I'm talking about. Yeah, it has a big run, then it pulls back a couple of days, profit taking, then pops higher. So this is a buy the dip type of a stock here. And am I doing it? No, I'm talking a big game, but I haven't bought this thing at all. But you can see here, it's just buy the dip, and it's ripping higher in an uptrend, right? This is where I was using the 5 EMA on these European stocks because they're just killing it. Deutsche Bank, another one, German bank, yeah, just ripping higher today, up 13.5%. Yeah, I've been mentioning these for weeks, and I think people get tired. That's why I didn't talk about them the last couple of sessions. But this is what you want to own. I mean, do I own it? No. Like I say, I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. Yeah, you should own it, but do you own it? No. But you could see getting it's just I don't own many banks in my lifetime. It's just I don't know, and especially foreign banks. But anyway, just trying to show some strength there. Santander, another Spanish bank. I mean, pull back the one day, right, and then making new highs. So just trying to show strength here. BCS. This is Barclays. This is a British, yeah, making new highs today, and then HSBC. Another European. You're probably getting tired of me doing this all the time. So, let's go to some of their drug stocks. GlaxoSmithKline, trying to, pull out of this base here, stage one base. That one looks pretty good. And of course, Novo Nordisk. They had news today. Lower price drugs, I believe, and they're manufacturing their own, and they're like I say, these guys are playing the long game, So when they pull back, you see this little, I had people saying, "Oh, this thing's dead. It sucks." Nah, just pull back a couple of months. It's going to do that. It did it here, right? And it did it here, right? But what happens, man? It's just boom. Eventually, this thing's going higher. Sorry, you know. Maybe, you should have bought it there about $80 when it was at the low, but now it's at 90. So, if you play that game, which I don't, um, I don't know. Uh, just more European stocks doing well. Jazz, they bought a company today. They made a new high, pull back to the 10. I forget who they bought. Chimerex, that's right. CMRX. How did that stock do today? It's bought out. There it is. Man, nice 70% premium there. So Jazz bought out that company. Anything? Oh yeah, I got to go to the China stocks here because they're doing well also. This is a fintech stock making a new high today. BABA, of course, when everybody thinks of China stocks, BABA, of course, is a big retailer. JD, they report tomorrow, so I was going to get to that later, but a nice cup with handle here. That one looks good. Other China stocks that I like, FUTU. This one pulled back nicely, nice cup with a handle, shook all the fools out. Yesterday it was up nicely, and then today, what, a 12% move? Okay. So 4% and then 12%. So it's probably up about, okay, 11% this week. So not a bad week. There you see on that. Sorry about that. I went too quickly. There's that cup with handle, nice 2 week shakeout, and the move higher. Now it's only 7% off of its high here. Uh, so when you get that shakeout, it's like everybody who wants out's kind of out. So buyers come in and drive it higher. I kind of like FUTU. If I was going to buy a China stock, SE, they reported, I don't know when, Tuesday morning. Anyway, nice response. And then today, another 11% move. Had it on the ready list recently and still follow the stock, but I don't own it. Had that kind of like a 3 weeks tight, little tight trading in here, 2 weeks. Pull back to a moving average and popping higher, up 15% this week. So SE looks fantastic. I like that stock. Do I own it? No, I don't. Okay, enough of that. I think you get the idea. Foreign stocks are doing well. I did mention that I bought a couple stocks this week. Gorilla, this one is like this is just really wild. This is a wild, wild stock. Yesterday it was down to 29. It pulled back. Get this, it pulled back to 29 on Tuesday morning, and then Wednesday morning is at 44. So it's like you know, yeah. And then last week it was down to 19, the low on the 25th. A week later, it's at 44. Hello. So this is a wild stock. I just think it's going to pull back, and you buy the pullbacks. You take a look at these big blue volume bars. So somebody wants this stock. It's way undervalued. It's way cheap. It's over a 700 million market cap now, but they just did a $1.8 billion deal, and I believe there's going to be more deals along the way. They got that contract with Bangkok in Thailand, which has about, I don't know, about 6 billion people in the city and about 17 billion people in the surrounding area. So if they just start tacking on cities like half that size, a quarter that size, this thing is going to be, I think, a 2 billion market cap in 2025. I think that would be a fair guesstimate, which would be more than a double hit from here, about $80 stock. But I'd say conservatively 60 if you take a look at the weekly. Yeah. It's look at these big blue volume bars, man. Tell me the institutions are not all over this thing. All right. Anyway, enough of that. I also bought TGTX, a little slower mover than um, Gorilla. But anyway, today just had like this inside day, quiet day. Once it goes up, it was up 3 days in a row. Right on, what was that, Friday? Yeah, Friday was up 5.5%. Monday morning they reported and rallied, what, 14%. Then yesterday was up another 3.5%. So today gave back 1.5. That's what you want to see with tiny volume, inside day with tiny volume. So, I'm expecting it to go sideways for a couple of weeks here. You can see the blue dot, showing relative strength, up 17% while the Nasdaq's down 1.5%. So this one is showing strength, and it's a stock that I like because of the business model. I think you can hold this one for years and years, and that's what I plan on doing. So I own it in a retirement account, bought it in a trading account because I think it's going to break out of that base here in the next couple of weeks. All right. So those are two trades for you. ASTS, another one that I like at 33.55. Traded above that today. So I'm going to put this one on our ready list for tomorrow. This one has a lot of strength in it. Yeah, up 18% today. I know it's way extended from its 10. I normally don't put stuff like that on. So let it come in a little bit. Yeah, 17% above the 10. So let it let it come in sideways a little bit. But 33.55 is your trigger. So it pulls back to 32 or 31 in the next couple of sessions. You might get another opportunity as it drives through that 33.55 area. That's ASTS. They reported earnings earlier this week as well. Let me see. Eli Lilly, of course, a drug stock that I like, have on my ready list. Just a monster stock here. Finding support at the 10 consistently now. So this is one that, I like stocks that are, Kelly Slater stocks just quietly grinding higher, finding support, higher lows. Yeah, Lilly looks great. Another one is Netflix that I like. Just pulled back. This is like a bull wedge pattern here as it pulls back to its 50 for the first time since the breakout and then popped a little bit today. So yeah, I like Netflix. Would like to see it get over 1,000. That'll probably be some sort of resistance. What other ones do we have here? I've got to go to the gold stocks. Just trying to, show Some strength here. Yeah, that was a financial stock. Gold stock here, undercut the 21, rallied higher. That one looks good. That's Gold Fields, and then AGI, Alamos Gold making new highs today. AEM is another one that looks good. So yeah, I'm just recognizing strength here. Another one that's like bull wedge pattern popping higher. Kinross, Gold, KGC is another one. Pulled back to the 50 for the first time since the breakout. Now it's ripped 4 sessions in a row with volume here. So this one is up, yeah, 6.75%. Do I own it? No, I don't. I should have bought it here, right? But I'm a retard. I didn't. So, uh, yeah, I talk a big game, but when it comes to putting my hard-earned money to work, I'm pretty picky in a downtrending tape like we have now. If it's uptrending, I'll get frisky, but this is not the time to get too loose with the market here. You get burned that way. All right, I've got to point out some other stocks here. The crypto stocks. I know a lot of people are making big noise about MicroStrategy, or just called strategy now, I guess. But anyway, pull back to the 200, found support and bounce, and it got through the 10 and the 21, which is pretty impressive. Still, for me, to get even, take a bite of this thing and a little nibble, it would have to get through the 50 there at 327. So it's got a lot of work to do. I'm not real thrilled about the crypto names. They've been way too, how shall I say, volatile. This is Coinbase. I mean, under the 200, nothing good happens under the 200. And then we have Hood. This is one that I like. Pull back to the 50 for the gosh, I thought it rallied back through the 50. No, it just kind of, yeah, this thing was at 66 after earnings and sold back to 42. That's pretty rough. Even with today's 4% move, yeah, 28% off the high. Uh, if you like to buy low and sell high, I mean, I guess it's low. So anyway, that's the crypto names, just really volatile. There's been too much noise around them for my liking. All right. Anyway, thank you for watching nmcstockcharts.com. We never give up. In honor of the great Steve Jobs, I have one more thing. And once again, we have this company saying how great things are. AI is killing it. Business is fantastic, but we're not going to raise guidance. We're just going to give you the inline guidance. And so it's selling off. 15% seems a little harsh because they did beat on the top and bottom line, but probably do something like CrowdStrike did yesterday, sell off at the open, and the buyers will come into this thing, I think. Anyway, it had a nice run, and I'm just not interested in stocks that are trending like this. I mean, they're just way too dangerous for me. Zscaler, this one reported, okay, up 5%. They beat on the top and bottom line. I saw that. I didn't see any quotes from the CEO about going forward. I think you'll have a conference call. I'll have more on this in the morning, but not bad for the Zscaler. Rigetti reported tonight. Rigatoni down. I talked about this, how the froth in the market is being knocked out of these stocks, and I like that. I don't even know what they earnings were. It doesn't really matter. These things need to be come down to earth. They just don't have the sales and earnings to justify these big moves here. So anyway, all right, Rigetti getting a haircut. All right, MDB reported. Oh boy, talk about haircuts. I didn't see the report. Obviously, not a good response to that report. So man, so these tech stocks, Marvell, MDB, getting clobbered after hours. This is Viva Systems, software, medical software stock, up 6%. Okay, I'll have more in the morning. I did not see their report, but nice response. Victoria's Secret, not holding out much hope for the consumer these days. Yeah, flat after hours. Wow, look at that chart. Jim Morrison stock been down so long, it's got to go up, right? All right, Lending Tree, um, up 10%. Okay, business should be decent for those guys, I would imagine. A couple of gas stocks. One is LB, Landbridge. These things, I don't know if they really respond to earnings that much. And then Kodiak Gas, ooh, down 11%. So anyway, I'll have more on that in the morning. And then, of course, we have some more stocks reporting in the morning. One is Cracker Barrel. I mentioned earlier JD reports in the morning. That's a nice cup with handle pattern there. So let's hope JD makes a move higher. Kroger CEO had to resign. Some personal, what do you call them? Peccadillos. Uh, yeah. Anyway, yeah, he's forced to resign. BJ, wholesale reports in the morning. Okay, pull back to the 50. Let's hope they do something decent. BKSY, this is a telecom services, cable satellite stock, same within the ASTS, and they're going to report in the morning. So I'm looking forward to see what they have to say. And then, of course, Macy's. All right. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up. Remember, day 4 could be the first day of an attempted rally. So we're going to have to, be ready to buy something if the market, kicks up 1% or more with the volume higher than Thursday's volume. So I'm looking forward to that. And at mcstockcharts.com, we never give up. So you better not give up.